Hello, it's Jane Bevins again. I am so excited to make this video. Oh, you guys have no idea. So, as you may have seen on my rheumatoid arthritis story, I have rheumatoid arthritis. I have had it for almost 8 years, and I have been researching my brains out. Like, I don't even think most people would do the amount of research I have done. I think a lot of people that get, excuse me, it's late at night, so when I'm doing this, so excuse my groggy voice, but most people that get autoimmune disease, they go to the doctor does blood work, they tell them what they have, they prescribe medications. Medications are very, very toxic. So if you don't know, I'm sure there's autoimmune diseases I don't know, but most of autoimmune diseases originate in the gut. 80% of our immune system is in our gut, in our stomach and intestinal tract. So if that's not functioning correctly, that, among many other things, is what causes autoimmune diseases. If you want to look up my history of how I think I got it, what was going on, look at my stories of how, that whole thing happened. There's a weird shadow on my face. There we go. So now I am making this video about how I got over my RA. I am not 100% better. I am about, I would say 90%, maybe even more on some days. I attribute most of my health now through my diet. So I tried every diet I feel like you can possibly try. I'm sure there's weird diets out there I have not tried, but I have tried just about every diet I can think of. I did the vegan diet. I did a diet through a guy named Clint Patterson. If you have RA and you've been searching, you may have heard of him. He's a very popular program, the Patterson program. He tells you to basically fast for 2 days and then eat a certain kind of basmati rice and quinoa. He says no animal products whatsoever. He's against all animal products, and very little fruit, if any. It's a very, very strict list of foods. I did that diet, and I actually sadly got worse on that diet, and I got worse on the vegan diet. And I tried a lot of different things, and there was nothing that consistently helped me. There were days that I would feel good and I would get excited and think maybe, what I was eating helped or whatnot. Because now it's almost been 8 years, after 7.5 years, I said, that's it. I've tried all this, so I go to the doctor. He tells me, that I need medication, so I start getting in the process of doing that. So in the meantime, I find a diet called the AIP diet. It is called the autoimmune protocol, and that is the diet that finally helped my body. I know that we're all different, we're built different, our body reacts differently to different diets, and so I'm not saying that this diet is going to help anybody with an autoimmune disease, because maybe it won't. Maybe your body won't react to it the way and heal the way that mine has. But with all the research that I've done, this diet really does make the most sense. So basically, this diet is the diet that our ancestors ate. Take the scrunchie off, it looks funny. This diet is the way that our ancestors ate. It's the way that we were meant to eat. So let me explain this diet a little bit to you. And you could even research that diet, and it would lay out all the foundation of the details. It's quite complex, actually. It's simple, but yet complex, because it's completely different than how we were raised to think we were supposed to eat and what Western diets are made up of. So this diet basically states that and I hate to even say diet, because this is the way I'm going to eat for the rest of my life, but there are stages in this diet, the autoimmune protocol, where you get more strict, and then after your pain starts to go away, you introduce foods back in. I have tried to introduce foods back in, And so far, I have not been successful with any of my introductory foods. I don't feel awful, but I don't feel good. My stomach lets me know when something doesn't agree with me. I start to get a little stomach cramping, gas, pain, minimal, but still I can tell it doesn't work for me. Anyway, back to what this diet is made up of. So basically this diet states that you should eat lots and lots of vegetables, like how we're raised when we're young to eat lots and lots of vegetables. So in a given day, my meals consistently, my plate would be like 70% vegetables. I eat every kind of vegetable too, except for nightshades. So that's the other thing. If you haven't heard of nightshades are white potatoes, tomatoes, and peppers. There is an acid in those. I don't know the for sure details on it. You could look into it if you want, but there's an acid in there that apparently does something bad with people with autoimmune disease. I don't fully get it. I haven't researched it. All I know is I shouldn't eat it, so I just kind of go along with that because that wasn't a super hard thing for me to give up. But it does say that you can have sweet potatoes, so I still eat those, and those do really well with me. No grains of any kind, no wheat, no rice, no quinoa, no buckwheat, no oats, none of that. I'm sure there's other grains, but no grains. So for me, that was insane. I kept trying this diet and I would mess up. I couldn't even get through a whole day of no grains because my whole life I have eaten, most of my diet has been grains. That has been the staple of my diet. I love breads, pastas, oats, all of it. And I will say that I do cheat a little bit, and here's one thing that does agree. I occasionally have a bowl of oats. Some mornings it just sounds so good, and I'll have a little bowl of oats. And for the most part, I don't feel any issues from it. I think that I've healed my stomach and my body enough now that eating a little bit of that, they say not to have oats because of the gluten that is in oats when they're producing the oats in the place they're producing it, gluten gets into the oats, so that's why it's bad. So you can get gluten-free oats. Some people's bodies just don't tolerate grains of any kind. So like I said, vegetables is the main thing. So the diet actually says that you can have all meats. But for me personally, I'm even more strict. I have only had chicken and fish because if I have red meat, I get very bad abdominal discomfort. So I've kind of tinkered with this diet because, and even the doctor who made this diet, who researched it on her patients, said, this diet isn't perfect. This diet will, she believes, heal anybody with autoimmune disease. I'm not saying that, but this is just what she says in her book, which I could link below if anybody's interested in knowing what the title of the book is. I could link that below. It's an amazing book, very good information. Tells you things at the cellular level, which is interesting to me. Anyway, it does say you can eat fruit, but another issue that I've had to deal with is candida. So candida is in our body, is healthy, but when you have a candida overgrowth, that's when it becomes an issue. So I've had candida so bad that I have been itching like all over. I even would itch like the side of my chest so bad that I would bleed. Candida, very bad. I was thinking I would never get rid of that, and guess what? Now that the RA is doing so well, the candida's gone. No itching anywhere. I feel like my candida is finally to a healthy place, which is wonderful. Wonderful. I've been dealing with this for so long, I don't even remember the last time I felt this good. I feel better now in a lot of ways than I did before I even got the RA. It's amazing. I just wish that I would have found this diet sooner because of the damage to my knee. Because the RA has been lingering so long in my body that the cartilage in my knee has deteriorated to a very bad place. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. But yes, so back onto the diet. So I'm just trying to think of how to organize this. So I'll just tell you the foods that you can eat, and then I can kind of talk about what I do eat. because it will probably seem like there's nothing you can eat. I remember thinking that at first, but really I don't feel like, I feel like I eat great. I love my diet. Okay, so the AIP diet, when you're starting out, and I'm still in that stage of just being really strict, you cannot have nuts, you cannot have seeds, you cannot have nightshades, you cannot have dairy, and you cannot have grains of any kind. No grains. I'm just trying to think if I missed out. Oh, sugar, of course. No, that's another big thing I need to talk about. So you cannot have sugar. I shouldn't say of any kind, because you are allowed to have maple syrup and honey. Pure maple syrup. Not the kind you go to the grocery store and most of the syrup aisle is filled with this garbage syrup that's just sugar that's not even cane sugar. It's manufactured in man-made sugar, so it's really toxic for your body. I'm talking about the expensive, pure maple syrup. So I have that, and I have honey, and I do really well with it. I can't go crazy on it. Dates is another really good way to sweeten food. I've even made cookies with coconut flour and dates, and they turned out pretty good. And so yeah, so those are the foods you can eat. Like I said, vegetables is the biggest thing, chicken, fish. I eat fruit, but I don't eat a lot. I eat it in moderation because I don't want candida to start going crazy again. Because candida, if you don't know, feeds on the sugar in our food. So that's why grains is a big no-no, because grains turn into sugar in our body. And then sugar, obviously, the fructose and sugar is good. It's good for your body, but just not a lot of it. If you are sensitive like me and have autoimmune issues. So yeah, so the diet, I started the diet, when did I start this? For the last 5 months is when I've got absolutely super dedicated on diets. But like I said, I did vegan and I did this Clint Pattison program. And there's probably something else I've done. McDougall, the Douglas McDougall is kind of more of a vegan, and that really messed me up. Felt even worse than that than the Western diet. But the AIP does say, AIP diet does say that eventually you can introduce, and I forgot to say, you cannot have eggs either. I know it's crazy. It sounds absolutely insane, all the things that you can't have. But the thing about it is, after a couple days of eating this way, you'll start to not feel like you're gonna go crazy. Because the first, like I said, I kept trying that first day over and over and over, and I kept messing up. And you know what? That's okay. That's okay if you mess up. As long as you're just consistently trying, eventually you'll get there. I mean, I've been on this diet now for a couple months. I don't even know for sure how long. And I am here to tell you that I don't ever want to go back to eating the Western diet, because eating that way, you feel like crap, you gain weight, you break out on your skin if you're prone to that, you have candida, all sorts of stuff. My joints have never felt better in 8 years. They feel better now than they did when I first got it. Because when I first got it, my feet were hurting really bad. And there is another wonderful side effect about this AIP diet, and that is all my weight loss. So from the time I started all these diets, and I've messed up in between and just, thought to heck with it. None of them were working until I found this one that really did work. And this one started working right away. Within a couple of days, a week, I started noticing an improvement in my joints, which no other diet had done. But I have lost 35 pounds in the last 5 months. And I would say most of the weight loss has been in the last just a few months, because cutting out grains, I had no idea how awful all those grains were making me feel. And another thing I forgot to mention, sorry if this video is all scattered, I should probably do one that's more organized, but another thing that you can't eat is tofu. Is soybeans. Tofu is soybeans. So soy is another issue. My battery's saying it's slow. Just clicking out of that. So soy also causes inflammatory problems. But like I said, after you've been on the diet for a little while and your pain or whatever your immune system problem is, whether it's like getting rashes or joint pain or muscle pain or fibromyalgia or lupus or whatever it may be, MS, you're going to feel better. And when you do, you can bring those foods back in that you start with one food at a time and wait a couple weeks. But yeah, so I mean, I could just do another video on just the weight loss because it just keeps falling off. It is so awesome. You probably can't tell how I look, but I mean, I'm not skinny, but I have lost a lot of weight. 35 pounds is a lot of weight to lose. I am 5'8", and so, you know, it's probably not as visible as somebody that's like 5'3", 5'4" woman. But yeah, I feel, and I mean, the main thing is I just feel so good. You know, in my previous video, and I did mention a little bit in this one, I was limping a lot. My knee was hurting so bad, and the diet has helped that a lot, along with the steroid shot I got. The diet has been huge because I do mess up sometimes. A couple nights ago, what did I eat? A brownie or something at a party. I ate a little bit of it, and that night was having some pain in my knee. And so the next day I had to be very vigilant on my diet to get that inflammation back out of my system. And that's the beauty of this diet, is I should say lifestyle change, because I'm going to eat this way forever. And I saw another video of a girl talking about this, and she calls it the traditional diet, which I really like the sound of that, because it's traditional to how our ancestors ate and how our bodies are meant to eat, how they're meant to run. Our bodies were not meant to eat packaged crap all day. That's the other thing that I need to make very clear, is refined sugars and packaged foods are not going to help your body heal. For me, I remember when I heard that, I thought there is no way I'm going to be able to give up packaged foods and refined sugar. And I did it, and if I can do it, anybody can do it, because I have the worst sweet tooth on the planet. And I have found recipes where I use dates and honey and coconut and arrowroot flour, and my children that are 2 and 7, and I have a baby, she doesn't eat it yet, but that are 2 and 7, they don't notice the difference. They grab them, they eat the cookies, and they love them. So it's possible you can still enjoy what you like. You do have to give up some things, I'm sorry to say. You know, if you want to heal from your autoimmune disease, it's not going to be easy. Healing from, because to get, first of all, if you have an autoimmune disease, your body is really jacked up. You're not going to be flaring up and having major issues, whether it be joint pain, muscle pain, rashes, cellular pain with MS where the myelin sheath is damaged. I mean, those are serious problems. RA damages the joints, and it permanently damages it without help. And the cool thing about it is you can still take your meds. I'm not saying get off your meds and start this diet and do what I'm saying. And I mean, I'm not even just saying that this diet helps everybody with autoimmune diseases. With all the 7, almost 8 years of research I've done, this diet is the one that makes the most sense. It actually is tolerable. I can still go out to eat. I mean, I have to be very careful with where I go, and it's not something I do often. But when I do go, I know what restaurants I can go to. I know what food I can have. I even know that there's certain dressings I can't have my salads. I have to know what the ingredients are. I can't have MSG. I can't have artificial crap in it. I mean, obviously the best thing is to stay home and cook. But now I want to talk about a few other things that have really helped. And this video is getting really long, so I need to kind of speed things up because I don't want it to go too long. So another very, very important thing is bone broth. Most people have never heard of bone broth. When I've gone to grocery stores and asked for bone broth, the people look at me like I'm crazy. They don't know what I'm talking about. So what bone broth is grass-fed, hormone-free bones of cows or chickens. You can use other animals, but those are the most common, are boiled for 24 to 48 hours. And the collagen and the good minerals and vitamins out of the bones are now in the broth. And then you drink it. Kind of sounds gross, but the flavor's very mild. You drink that, and that heals the stomach lining. So the problem with autoimmune diseases is, like I said, the intestinal lining has microscopic holes in it. It's damaged, and the foods, the allergens that we're eating and the inflammatory foods we're eating go through those microscopic holes in the stomach. They go into the bloodstream and they damage the body. It can damage the brain, joints, muscles. Like I said, there's tons of autoimmune diseases out there. Everybody's prone to different autoimmune diseases, but it damages the body. So bone broth helps heal that lining. I would say up there with the diet, bone broth has been one of my #1 life-saving, healing things that I do. I drink it almost every day. I didn't drink it today and I'm still feeling great. I can tell within 24 hours if I'm doing something that my body's not liking, because my body can jump right back into having issues pretty quick. Not to the point where I'm like excruciating pain and need ibuprofen, but I can tell like things aren't feeling the way that they're supposed to. So that's the beauty of once you're healing, you can tell. Like the other day I had a few bites of my kids' scrambled eggs and I could tell that my body didn't like it. So I stopped. I haven't had it since. I know that I can't introduce that food again. So like I said, the AIP diet, bone broth, another wonderful thing that's helped with just me and my rheumatoid arthritis personally, I don't know how it would help other immune issues, is cherry extract. So I have found it, I think you can find it online if you even just Googled it and found a company who made pure cherry extract. You don't want a company who puts any preservatives or sugar in it, because that obviously is not good for your body. So I put that in my drinks occasionally, or I sometimes just drink a shot of it, and that helps inflammation. It's an antioxidant. It also helps you sleep better at night, so that's kind of a plus. Glucosamine is good for the joints. A lot of people have heard of that. I've taken that. I'm hoping to rebuild my knee cartilage because, like I mentioned, my knee is not 100%. I walk like a normal person now. I didn't used to. I used to have a bad limp and it was really hard to get around. I walk like a normal person. If you saw me walking around, you wouldn't know that anything had been wrong with me. And I was close to the point, kind of going off subject here, but I was close to the point, just to tell you how bad my knee was, that I was looking at knee replacement surgery. And even my doctor was saying that that's something that I should consider. But now that I'm feeling so good and I'm taking supplements and I hope that my cartilage can grow back, even though some doctors claim that it can't, I am hopeful and have faith that in time it can get to where it needs to be, because I can't run. When your cartilage is really low, like mine, I can't run. I can speed walk, I get around just fine. Anyway, that's just kind of a recap on how good I'm feeling versus how I was. I wish I had done a video of how bad my limp was versus how good I am now, just so you guys could see, but I'm just trying to think of the most substantial things here. I think that's mostly it. I mean, obviously the common things that we all know, like getting sleep. If I don't get sleep, then I'm not going to feel as good, and then, I'll feel run down, but that doesn't really affect my joints. So I guess the 3 things that have helped me the most is the AIP diet, bone broth, and cherry extract. So I hope that this video can help somebody. I have just been really feeling that I need to make this because I know that there are people out there in pain and that are suffering, and I want to help if I can. Not that I'm a doctor, I'm not saying that I know everything and that this video is going to for sure help you, but it could, and I'm sure it could help some people that are in pain or that are suffering. So if you have any questions or comments, please drop them down below, and I would love to get back to anybody with any questions for me. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye.